So I am here to talk about clubs.
Please do not leave. We have.
So if you wouldn't mind advancing the slide. Okay, great. So I was asked by the executive board of your club to talk about how this club has representation in the state party and the local parties. It can be a little bit confusing. So first of all, the Democratic Club of San Marcos is chartered through the San Diego County Democratic Party. And any group of individuals with more than 20 Democratic members can charter as a club through the San Diego County Democratic Party. Today there are 55 clubs chartered through the Democratic Party. And clubs have representation in the party in endorsements, resolutions, and internal elections. As a club, you have a vote in our local county party in those matters. Clubs are also represented through their participation in the Council of Clubs, which votes on rules and policies regarding the clubs for the party. Please advance the slide. Okay, there are three types of clubs chartered through the San Diego County Democratic Party. The first is geographic clubs, like the San Marcos Democratic Club. Other examples of geographic clubs include the Point Loma Democratic Club, the East Lake Bonita Democratic Club, the East County Democratic Club. And why did I give those examples? Because those are different types of geographies. Your club is representative of your city, which is San Marcos, though you allow people from outside San Marcos, clearly, to join. You also have clubs that are representative of neighborhoods. So the Ocean Beach Point Loma Democratic Club is a neighborhood in San Diego City. East Lake Bonita Democratic Club is a neighborhood, partially unincorporated and partially in Chula Vista. And the East County Democratic Club represents an area of over 100 miles that we refer to as East County. So the other types of clubs are affinity clubs. Some examples are Democrats for Environmental Action, which is a group that advocates for environmental sound policies in our party. Democrats for Equality, which advocates for LGBTQ rights in our Democratic Party. The La Rosa Democrata Democratic Club, which is a Spanish language Democratic club, and the AAPI Democratic Club, which is a Democratic club for Asian American Democrats. So an affinity club is any affinity group that's gotten together and decided they want to form a club to advance their advocacy for their cause. Academic clubs are a third type of club, and we don't have enough of them, quite frankly. Today, our only academic club is the UCSD Democratic Club that's chartered through the party. I hear that there is also a Fallbrook High School Democratic Club. We would love to get those guys chartered. So, yeah, so that they can also have a vote in our local party. Please advance the slide. Oh, one last thing is that a geographic club group at the local county level has one representative that votes for the club. An affinity club, if they get more than 20 members in any geographic region of the party, and there's 5, North Coastal, North Inland, East, West, and South, they can have a representative in each of the areas where they have more than 20 members. And an academic club, like a geographic club, has one representative in the region where it is founded. So advancing the slide, please. Democratic clubs can also participate with the California Democratic Party. That's what we just saw. And this election was to get the endorsement vote of this club for the endorsement of the California Democratic Party. So the San Diego County Democratic Party handles anything at the county level or below. Supervisor, city council, school board, water board, that's all purview of the San Diego County Democratic Party. Once you get to any statewide office, and they include assembly, senate, congressional races, the federal as well, federal, senate, governor, etc., that's handled by the California Democratic Party. And this club was important, especially important to that consideration, because your club did a really good job getting a lot of members. So because it's proportional, every 20 members you get another vote, your club was really, really important in this race, because you're going to have a number of votes at the state level. So you became even more popular because of this important election, right? So that's a good thing. You're getting a lot of representation. So congrats again to your club leadership for making that happen. Now, clubs, Democratic clubs do not charter with the California Democratic Party. They only qualify. There are clubs that charter through the state party, but most clubs in our region do so through the county party, not the state party, because simply by qualifying, you can participate in endorsements. So again, congratulations to your clubs for doing a wonderful job of that. Please advance the slide. Okay, clubs also participate with our local Democratic Party through what is known as the Council of Clubs. The Council of Clubs has been described by others, and I don't disagree, as a support group for club presidents. So basically, what it is that if we get together once a month and we talk about best practices for clubs, we give trainings on things like parliamentary procedure, conflict resolution, club finance, how to conduct an endorsement vote. We give these trainings for clubs to capacitate clubs to be stronger and better advocates for their communities. We also vote on changes to the party bylaws regarding clubs. So for example, we have at our upcoming Council of Clubs meeting, extending the notification period that the party gives clubs of upcoming endorsements from 30 days to 45. That's on our agenda for the next meeting. We also tell the clubs about upcoming important priority Democratic events happening, like the Democratic Convention that's coming up at Escondido in the month of October, and the October 28th, and volunteering for our supervisor candidate, Monica Montgomery Stepp. She had her kickoff today, but she could use lots of helpful menus. These are some of the things we talk about at our Council of Club meetings. The next slide, please. Club Development Committee. Okay, Justin was just here. He is on our Club Development Committee, as am I. Your representative in this area is Hugh Rockman, and he's giving a number of the same presentations that I am to clubs over this month, and we'll get to why. So your club development rep is who you go to when you have questions about party bylaws, procedures, etc. So this club board works with Hugh Rockman, club development, and myself to make sure that everything is in order and you're being properly represented in the party. So I refer to Club and Steph, as I told Justin and everyone else when they joined, you're my board. You're my keyboard of the Council of Clubs. They help me get the Council of Clubs meetings together. They help mediate disputes, etc. They are the executive board of the Council of Clubs. Next slide, please. Okay. What is Democratic Central Committee? So I've talked a little bit about Democratic Central Committee. Democratic Central Committee is the governing board of the San Diego County Democratic Party, and it's made up of elected members and a few other membership classes. So what the Democratic Party does is it conducts the party's general business, approves its budget, coordinates Democratic campaign activity, and endorses candidates for local offices. Now, our party has a staff that helps out a lot with managing the budget, campaigning, coordinating campaign activities. Where the Central Committee has a lot of influence is endorsements. It chooses who the Democratic Party endorses, and it chooses what resolutions we support. Those are the two main activities of our Central Committee. Our Central Committee operates at two levels. The first are the regional caucuses. And as I said before, there are 5 regional caucuses. North Coastal, North Inland, you're on the North Inland side. Vista's on the North Coastal. The line is right here. There is the East Caucus, the South Caucus, and Metro West Caucus. So those are the 5 caucuses of our party. Clubs have representation in their caucus. And what does a caucus do? A caucus holds a vote to make a recommendation on endorsements to the main Central Committee. So in your regional Central Committee, you have people that were elected to Central Committee, their alternates, lifetime members, state-level Democratic elected officials, and club representatives. That group of people in your region get together, and in your region you vote on who we're going to endorse for San Marcos City Council, who we're going to endorse for Oceanside City Council, who you're going to endorse for Water Board, for local school board, et cetera, et cetera. That is the North Coastal region. So today, in fact, right now or right after this, the North Coastal Caucus is meeting to do some endorsements. They are rating strategically critical a few ratings so they can endorse next month. Specifically in Oceanside, there is a contested election, and in Carlsbad. So as I said before, the regional caucus, go ahead and advance the slide, please. The regional caucus is just giving recommendations to the main Central Committee. Who makes the final vote, the final decision, is the overall Central Committee. And their clubs do not have a vote. The only people that have a vote are lifetime members, certain Democratic elected officials, appointees, So if you won a seat on the board, such as myself, but we're not elected, such as myself, I do still get a vote because I'm the director of clubs. I'm on the keyboard of the Democratic Party. And the elected members. Elected members are people who are elected on a public ballot. On your March 2024 primary ballot, you're going to see an election for Democratic Central Committee, and you're going to select 6 people. Those people get a vote, and they make up the majority of the Central Committee. And they take the final vote on all resolutions and endorsements. Now, 9 times out of 10, they follow the recommendation of the region. However, at the last Central Committee meeting, that almost changed. It didn't change. They still followed it. But someone who had won the regional recommendation almost didn't get the Central Committee endorsement. And that was due to some circumstances that had changed between the region and the main Central Committee vote. So it does happen that things are overturned, right? So next slide, please. Okay, so here's the meat of this. This is what I'm trying here to accomplish today. I want your club members to run for Central Committee. Why is that? This club has great representation at the state level. Well done. I want you to have great recommendation at the local level too. And how do you do that? Clubs do not have proportional representation in San Diego County. You just get 1 vote in your region. However, imagine if you can get your club members elected to Central Committee. That will give you a bigger voice and a bigger vote at Central Committee. So I'm going from club to club, asking clubs, hey, run for Central Committee, run your members, because I want to see the grassroots as the advocate for clubs. So to me, clubs are the voice of the community. They are our grassroots. I want to see as much grassroots voices as possible on our Central Committee, right? So how do we do that? We get our members elected on that public ballot. Because then at the regional level, you not only get your vote, you get the vote of your alternate too. You get double the representation. Your vote is unbound, but again, you know your community well, and you come to these meetings. So I trust that you probably are acting in a way that would help this club, right? And then at the main Central Committee meeting, you also get a vote. So this is really, really important. And I'm trying to encourage as many clubs as possible to run. So, what happened? We were doing so well. Okay, there we go. Next slide, please. Okay, so let's say, okay, you're thinking about running for Central Committee. What does that mean? That means you have to attend 2 meetings per month via Zoom. One is your regional caucus meeting. The other is the main Central Committee meeting. It's a pain, I admit, but it's via Zoom. So I often do it while making dinner. And you can be absent if you have a valid justification. You have to ask for an excuse at every meeting that you are absent for. And we have lost many such committee members who simply stopped attending and therefore forfeited their seats, right? But you can ask for an absence, and we grant them 9.9 times out of 10. You were sick, you couldn't find childcare, you were on a plane, work event. It doesn't matter. Just request that absence. So the point of this slide is to tell you, be prepared to have to show up twice a month. But if you don't, as long as you take care of it, it's not the end of the world. So on to the next slide. How are Central Committee representatives elected on the public ballot? As I said before, March 2024 primary, it'll be on that ballot. Now you are elected by assembly district. There are between 23,000 and 61,000 likely Democratic voters per assembly district. Now, I think most people here in the 76th, which is fully encompassed in San Diego County. So this is a rather one of the larger ones. The ones that are 21K are ones that extend into Orange County or Riverside County. So it's a big district. Don't get me wrong, it's a big district. But 6 people are elected per assembly district. So it's a bit of a crapshoot. You put your name on there and you happen to get the luck of the draw. You're the first candidate on the ballot. People like the designation retired teacher, and woohoo, you can be a Central Committee member. On the other hand, you could work your butt off, open a campaign, and still not make it. I personally lost my last Central Committee race, and I have been a campaign consultant. So, you know, it's with 6 people being elected and more than 10 people running, it's a bit of a gamble, but it's worth it, I think, to get better representation for your community. So on to the next slide. How can you do this? Well, the first thing is nomination papers are now available. Go down to the San Diego County Registrar of Voters from 9 to 5 and get your nomination papers. You will need to get 20 valid signatures from the Democratic voters in your assembly district. Now here it says 30, but I need to switch that to 40. You can get up to 40 signatures. And you want to. Don't get 20 signatures and think you qualify. I say this as someone who, why am I my own lessons learned? 2 cycles ago, 8 years ago, I ran and got 24 signatures or 26 signatures. I did not qualify for the ballot because it turned out people weren't registered to vote, didn't live in my assembly district, thought they were a Democrat and they weren't, didn't fill out their address correct. I wanted with less than 20 ballot signatures. So the lesson to learn from me is get 40 signatures. It's not that hard. There's more than 40, you all have more than 40 friends in this room. And you can all sign each other's nomination paperwork. Afterwards, ask your neighbors, ask your Go Team friends. Go down to the post office and stand there for 2 hours. 40 signatures is not that hard to get. You don't need to pay a fee to run for central committee. But you have to have this done by the deadline of December 8th. And when I was getting my nomination papers yesterday from the registrar of voters, they said, please don't come in on December 8th. Yeah. It is absolute chaos. And so come in on December 7th or 6th or 5th. So you need to get them in by December 8th, but I would recommend doing it a few days before if you want to have a moment to speak to the person at the registrar of voters. And considering you're turning in and filling out forms, give yourself a little time, right? So get those signatures in by December 8th. By December 28th, December 23rd, you will know whether or not you've qualified. Once you know whether or not you qualified, get started on your campaign because ballots go out on February 5th. Not everybody votes for central committee candidates. Most people, quite frankly, skip that portion of the ballot. You know who doesn't skip that portion of the ballot? The people that turn in their ballot the moment they get it on February 5th. Those people, they vote for central committee. So what does that mean? That means you need to start running for central committee January 5th. Because you need to give yourself time to reach those early voters. So the moment you know you've qualified, get started on your campaign for central committee. You'll know after March 5th, when the final election date is, whether or not you've won. But we vote by mail now. Everyone votes by mail. So, expect to have to reach voters by February 5th. Next slide, please. Okay, campaign finance. Okay, you're reaching an assembly district. It's a lot of voters. If you are receiving or spending more than $2,000 in order to do this, you need to open a campaign committee. If you need help opening a campaign committee, feel free to speak to me. I've been a campaign treasurer numerous times. It's not too overwhelming as long as you're running a reasonably small campaign. So, if you're spending more than $2,000, you do need to file a statement of intent, a 460, which is a form that you file 3 times before the election saying your activity. There is a paperwork burden here. So, if you're planning on spending $2,050, don't do it. But if you really feel you're going to spend over $2,000, you need to follow campaign finance law. Next slide. How clubs can support their members running for central committee. As of December 28th, you will know who in your club is running for central committee. How can your club help those people? Well, first of all, you need to create a slate of your club members running for central committee. Let's say you only have 3 members running for central committee. Maybe there's an affiliated club that you want to run with. If you have 2 clubs in the 76 that want to combine forces to have a joint slate, that's a great way to do it. Then you want to mail that slate out to your membership. You want to let your membership know which of your club members are running for central committee so they can vote for them. In a club with a very healthy membership such as yours, that's a lot of voters you could reach, plus their members and family members, because no one ever knows who to vote for central committee. Also, a club itself can have a PAC. So Democrats for Equality had a PAC last cycle, and they sent out a slate mailer to their club members about running for central committee. I would encourage San Marcos Democratic Club to do the same. You can contact voters in your district on behalf of the club about who your central committee candidates are. Really important, the county party does not endorse or put out a slate for central committee. And that's a good thing, because it is the governing board of the Democratic Party. That would kind of be a conflict of interest. So the Democratic Party itself, as a countywide organization, does not endorse for central committee, but your club can and should, since you want to get your members elected. Next slide, please. Okay, so you're the candidate. How does the candidate promote their candidacy? First of all, reach out to your geographic and affinity clubs in your assembly district. So many people here are a member of this club. Some are a member of multiple clubs. Go to your clubs and announce, I'm running for central committee. ask the club for their endorsement, for your endorsement. So ask Santa Monica's Democratic Club officially, will you endorse me? Then ask all your friends in the club. Go to person one by one and get their individual endorsements and pledges of support. You can run a field campaign, call and canvass your neighborhood. You can request voter lists in order to do this from the registrar of voters, and I believe you can purchase them from the local county party. I need to double check this. You can also have a mail program, which means becoming a slate with your allies. So you can run on a slate with your allies. So this happens every cycle. People that qualify run for central committee start getting together and go, oh, will you support me? I'll support you. Okay. And then you organically form a slate. You can also pay to be on those slate mailers. None of us like them. The unofficial Democratic guide from the Democratic slate mail pay to be on company, but we all get them the ballot. So I would not be offended with anyone if you would like to pay to be on the Eagle mailer, the advocacy choice mailer, because they do Democratic slate. Also, you can get an endorsement by organized labor. Now, I have heard that it was too late to apply already today, but they might make some exceptions. Either way, if you're interested in labor support, and I would recommend being interested in labor support because they are an organization that the Labor Council does put out a slate, and the Labor Council has money to reach an entire assembly district. The next course for candidates that want to be a labor endorsed candidate is on November 2nd. I am signed up to attend myself, and we'll see if I can participate with that since I missed the questionnaire turn-in deadline. So, next slide, please. Is that it? Is that the last slide? Okay, that's it. I want you to run for central committee. Does anyone have any questions about how to do it or what it is?
I am your Club Dev at-large member.
Yeah.
When you put out slates, if a club endorses your slate, can they send out an email to their club members that say, hey, the San Marcos Town has endorsed this slate?
Yes.
And are they limited by their geography or
No.
like whatever? Oh, okay.
No. If you have a mailing list of voters, that's why it's important for clubs to do this. Clubs can get their members elected, right? You want to reach as many people as possible. And these races with so many candidates, there may be 30 candidates in this race. It's going to be the candidates that can reach the most voters, and clubs know how to reach voters because we've been doing it for years, especially this very well represented town. So. Any other questions?
Thanks, Cynara, for being here.
Thank you.